Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, before we get really started, I wrote an article and it is about how much Sinners sucks. So you need to go read it because if you're super mad about that statement, go read the full article and spend a lot of time.
We haven't tried this marketing tactic yet.
Yeah, spend a lot of time on the page and log those minutes reading through the article about why Sinners is so bad. And then if you have, if it really upsets you, you can write in and share the article and tell people what a dumb take this guy has about this movie. So that's up on totallybiasedmusic.com right
check
now.
It out.
Yeah.
I'm waiting till prime internet time to share it tomorrow, because by the time I got home today, it was it's late on the East Coast. So
that's smart. That's calculated.
I'm marketing. It's it's my thing.
Calculated.
Hey, before we hop in, I know we like to talk about our beverages a lot. You know what I had today for the first time in a while that I haven't had in a while? Nice.
What?
A sugar-free Red Bull. Man, those things hit. I don't care how bad it is for me. I don't care what it does to my heart. Like, every now and again, those things are just they get you going. So shout out sugar-free Red Bull. Red Bull sponsor us.
Honestly, it's the safest energy drink in terms of it has some of the lowest caffeine count of any 12-ounce energy drink. Like, it's only
the 12 ounces.
Yeah, the 12 ounce is only 115, but a 12-ounce Monster or Celsius is 200. It's it's honestly smarter to have a Red Bull, I think.
I'll say this. Have y'all ever tried mud water? Because
the mushroom? No, but please don't say it too loud, because if my phone hears it, I'm going to start getting a billion ads about it, because I already did.
It's worth it. It's worth it. I mean, I never drank coffee, but I did drink energy drinks and Red Bulls and 5-hour energies, but it is a day and night difference, and you can start tomorrow, so I highly recommend Mud Water. It's great. I mean,
I didn't know you never drank coffee.
No, I never got into coffee. I just never got in. I drank it when I was probably 12 in church, just to be that kid to drink coffee with adults, me and a couple kids. Yeah. But it never stuck with me. So, but caffeine in general, yeah. But that's where I used to drink 5-hour energies a lot when I drove the garbage trucks, and then energy drinks every now and then as I'm kind of working. But the mud water, just 1 a.m, it carries me over. So, I mean, it's doable for me.
Yeah,
I'm not a regular.
I'm a big coffee guy. I even got a stovetop, or I got a campfire percolator to bring with us on our trip. Just throw that bitch in the fire, let that coffee percolate up.
It's time for the percolator.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on Sinners, but I do want to say I did finally watch it. And Anthony, what did you think? Did my opinion shock you, or does it align with what you thought I was going to think of the movie?
No,
that's what I want to know.
It aligned exactly. I mean, I guess, should I not spoil your review? But the reality is, I knew that we just needed to you just needed to see this movie. It is a movie that I knew was undeniable. And everything in your article echoed exactly what I felt coming out of the movie. Just we couldn't talk about it, because I didn't want to taint anything, And I think, your article really does speak to the concept of go in however you're gonna feel, but good art's gonna move you regardless. One direction or another, it's impactful and it's worth talking about. So I'm super glad you finally saw it. Hate that you didn't see it it's almost a year old. I think it came out in the springish of last year, so it's kind of almost a year old. But either way, it still hits, and it hits at home too. So I'm glad you got to see it.
But man, when those widescreen shots turned into full screen, I was at home. I was like, "Fuck!" On an IMAX screen, that shit was
literally just sucking you in.
It was so cool. It was. I'm sure they'll re-release it in theaters at some point too.
It was there. It might be there right now in certain theaters. It was pre-Oscars, but this is a movie that I think is undeniable for years to come. It should be experienced that way.
100%,
communally too.
100%.
I'm glad you felt the way you felt about the music scene, because when I saw that in theaters, I was just hands on the back of my head, this is fucking incredible.
I've never seen anything.
It's
never seen anything like it.
So cool, and the way that they just have that camera on a 360 swivel type of situation. They're going from different form of black music to different form of black music, and it's just carrying through the room, and then outside, and then to Africa. It's fucking awesome.
It's just
spirit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like if there's some Asian music or Asian dancers in there too. Like it's just, yeah, that scene is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, and it really, like, I keep going back to it. I've watched it. I watched it like over and over again on repeat as I was writing it, and just to hear the song, because the song is so good, but also the movie version of it fits so much better because you have the monologues like draped in throughout it that like really just bring it home. So yeah, I slept on it too long. That was a mistake.
And
Mistake I will not make
owned
again.
up to it, and I love the fact that you opened up to how you went into the movie like thinking there's no way like this is going to be worth my time, but like turns out it was worth your time for a year and waiting, you know. So I'm
Yeah,
glad you got to.
100%, 100%.
I'm
All
glad
right.
you're accepting your inner contrarian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you like how I shouted out the contrarians
Uh-huh.
at the very beginning? I
Uh-huh.
said, "Hey, strap in. It's not going to be a good ride for you, brother." All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Totally Biased Music. It's Blake, Trey, and Anthony, and today we are reviewing Mezzanine, not Medellin, which I called it at one point. And we are not talking about the Medellin cartel. We're talking about Mezzanine from Massive Attack and Heat, which is the Trey movie pick. The category for both of them was things you wanted to bring for a long time. So, Anthony, tell us a little bit about Mezzanine.
All right. So, admittedly, hadn't listened to Massive Attack honestly at all, probably up until the middle of last year through the rest of my life, I'm sure. You know, and this this genre of music is coined as trip hop, but it pulls from all sorts of music, and I think a lot of music that we all kind of enjoy, whether it be electronic or hip hop or down tempo or dub or reggae, and it kind of fuses this all together into these interesting like sound collages. That's kind of the way I look at a lot of this music, because it's sampling from the 70s and bringing in 90s electronic, and it carries over, I think, almost 30 years later. You know, I mean, this album, this was my first full, like, not my first full on listen to, but my full first listen for this wasn't probably more than 3 months ago, really diving into these albums of trip hop, and I just love the vibe that these albums kind of curate and you can hang out in, and there's a lot of different, you know, patterns to follow musically with your ears throughout this music. And for me, it just puts me in that headspace. It's dark. This is a dark album, very like uses a lot of industrial sounds, and it really has this kind of melancholy feeling to it. Almost claustrophobic, you know, but in reality, there's rhythm that I think is hypnotic to it, and that's what draws me really to trip hop, is just, you know, backbeats and bass lines that kind of continue on throughout the song, but it still progresses and builds on itself. And honestly, the blend of female vocals with this type of music for me is like I cannot get enough of it, you know. So I had a choice of really to bring any album to the podcast, and this one I felt was going to touch a lot of things, but also it's a widely acclaimed album too. So figured y'all would enjoy it, but let's get y'all's thoughts on it.
Trey, you can start us off.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised that this was the album that you went with as far as like one that you'd wanted to bring for a while, but I feel like maybe you brought it because it brings some interesting conversation. Only because like we've never like talked about Massive Attack or anything like that. Obviously they're a classic. They're like early purveyors of like 90s electronic music. I think it's sometimes during this album, like that's really cool thing. I think at other times it's like overly simplistic for me. But one thing I definitely loved was like the female vocals. Like all my favorite songs on here have the female vocals in it. I think it mixes a lot better. You're going to hear me reference Tool a lot throughout this, because I think whenever there are like male voices, I think it kind of blends into that like industrial rock music that is Tool, and that kind of like takes me out of it, just because I've tried like a lot, but I just do not like that band. And even the other day I was in a bad mood and I was like, I'm gonna listen to Tool because that's like a bad mood thing, and
It just made it worse.
didn't help. Yeah, it just made it worse. Just made it so, you know, I'm not a big fan of Tool, but what this album does really well with like some of the atmospheric like dub and you know, some of like the sampling and some really like strange sounds, it does really, really well. So a bit of a mixed bag for me, but definitely some highlights that
I will say, and this is probably a hot take, but I wish there was a instrumental only version of this album, because I gotta tell you, man, the instrumentals on this are so sick and I really ride with them. And then like apart from a few, the vocals really take me out of it. And that was like really upsetting to me because there are some songs where like I got into a groove of the instrumental and then some vocals came on and I was like, God damn it. Like this ruined the vibe that I was on. And there's like, we'll get into it later, but apart from one song, like I just don't like Horace Andy's voice. And who is Horace Andy, Anthony? Do you know?
Like a seven. He's an older guy. He's like a reggae. I don't want to say legend because I hadn't heard of him before Massive Attack, but I would fair to say he's known in the reggae community and has like been producing music like vocally from the 70s on. And I think he just joined up with this collective. I mean, the folks in Massive Attack, there are, more tech savvy folks. And I don't, no shame to Horace Andy, but I doubt he's dabbling in a lot of the the technicality of this album. But like, I do find it interesting. So like Tom York is a guy who we talk about periodically. I mean, probably controversial in this pod, but like to me, I can listen to a Radiohead song and really focus on what Tom is actually saying, like verbatim, read the lyrics, or I could listen to Radiohead and not pay truly that much detail to what Tom is saying, but how his voice is blending in with the music. And that to me kind of creates a whole different listening experience if you can decipher or tune out a voice, because otherwise I think you're kind of doomed to experience an album like this where if that kind of turns you sideways, it's hard to let go of that thought. I hesitate a lot with lyrics.
Yeah, I think that was in like when I was going back and re-listening, I was just re-listening to songs I liked, and so maybe I need to revisit it and listen to songs I didn't like to see if I take that approach, if it changes. Because like I said, the instrumentation here, if you want to call it instrumentation, is super fucking unique, and it really is like an electronic version of Tool. I don't know which one of you guys, I think it was Trey that said that, but but yeah, that's a really like apt description of what this is. And it's dark, and you definitely have to be in the right mood for it. Like I listened to it late at night, and I think I was just at my computer and just kind of vibing to it, and I really liked the direction that the beats took me. But yeah, I just wish there was an instrumental version. I feel like I would rinse that all the time, but there were just some, apart from a few that we'll get into later, there's just some that took me out. I will say the female vocals were really great, and one of them is my top song. But yeah, so again, kind of a mixed bag, wasn't something like I'll never revisit or actively dislike, but not something I super loved either. So
yeah.
I do think it works really well as like a full set piece of music, which probably was not that I'm not like super well versed in 90s electronic music, but that other than Boards of Canada, I don't think that was really like a goal that those artists like came out with as far as like putting together a whole album that like kind of flows. It's even like with the reprise of Exchange at the end, like it all kind of ties together really nicely. So that was definitely a high point.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's get into it, Anthony.
Okay, so we'll just go track down the list, I guess. So Angel's the first track, and this one, headphone listening, I always try to emphasize doing that. But with this album, if that's how you start it, you're not, in my opinion, not taking the cans off your ears, because it just is a sub bass kind of symphony that starts off this track, and it's really low. Like you play this on your phone or on computers, you probably won't even register sound until maybe 20 seconds into this song. But it for me, it sets the tone for what you're going to experience, which is just like very rhythmic, very hypnotic, kind of just sub bass. And I could see the lyrics on this one, kind of throwing people off too. But when I was digging, I did this while I was kind of waiting for us to record, was I was just digging through who sampled. And there comes an interesting kind of twist to this album, which are all the samples they use. And some of them are vocal samples. And this one in particular, I think, is from like a 70s track of Horace Andy's. But I really enjoy it. I love the way it starts off, and it kind of gives it its own build within the track too, which I think kind of is nice way to kick it off.
Yeah, I had this as one of my top tracks actually.
Nice.
I think that this shit sounds like a rock song, man. This doesn't sound like a trip hop song. Doesn't sound like an electronic song. Sounds like a fucking Tool song, and it rocks. It's dark as shit. It's heavy. The lyrics, honestly, now that you kind of bring up Tom York, it's a little Tom York vibe to this. I feel like in the way that he's singing. But I thought this was great, and it really. I mean, shit, it sets a tone. It definitely sets a tone for the album. Like you gotta, it's kind of telling you, like, if you're not in a headspace to listen to this first song, don't continue on. Circle back when you're in a different headspace. So I really enjoyed it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so for me, this song, you know, Anthony, when you talk about the grinder for Tipper, like, this is the first couple minutes of the song that is that like grinding down tempo, 100%. Slow build, and then that guitar comes in. This is also one of my top songs. You know, even with the vocals, then the guitar comes in. It's just this like crashing, like almost like an intrusion into the track, but it works really, really well. So I loved this song. Vocals withstanding, I actually kind of like the way that it worked here.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean, I was not expecting that, honestly. But like you comparing it to the grinder, it is that beat, that just slow and steady, that just one after another. Fuck yeah. All right, so the second track is a track that I was familiar with prior to this album, basically because Bass Nectar remixed it, right?
Was it a Bass Nectar remix?
Yeah.
Because okay, because I recognize it's the second half, right? It's just the second half.
It's actually a lot of this song, you know? I mean, like, here's the thing.
Like pieces
Bass Nectar, when he remixes tracks like this that are established but already sick in their own right, he's really, you know, he calls it reinforcing a track. It's adding sub bass that just kicks harder. But, like, when you listen to this original, then you realize, like, I call it the Viper breakdown that's, like, 2 minutes into this song where it's just really hitting you. And that's all that's all from these guys, you know, and it just makes me appreciate their production so much more, because a lot of the stuff that I liked from the remix, besides obviously the big bass, is straight up right in this groove that is this track, you know. So I fucking love this track. It's not my favorite on this album, but like it highlights a lot of what they can do production wise, the sounds bouncing ear to ear. And there's a nice little like kind of cymbal breakdown towards the middle or end of this track. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I was like. I listened to this track, I don't know, whenever Bass Nectar put out that remix, and it didn't resonate with me then because I was hearing this remix version of it, you know, but like so many years detached going back to this track, I appreciate it so much more.
He also he would go into, maybe it was still the remix or he mastered something else, but he used to play an Outkast a cappella over it, the throw your hands in the air and wave, and this is another one of my top tracks. I hate to get two of them out of the way at the very beginning, but it reminds me of, not even from a Bass Nectar standpoint, but like this teleports me to like Okeechobee and Electric Forest, like walking through those wooded areas of those festivals. Like that's what this song reminds me of. That's just the energy and the like environment that comes from it. And I just love the sounds of it. And yeah, it may be a little bit of nostalgia from He Who Shall Not Be Named, but I think it's still overall a good song with or without the remix. So I really enjoyed it. Trey, you're smirking. Do you have a comment on that?
I have a positive comment on that, actually. Okay. Believe it or not, it definitely tickled the old nostalgia of the 2012, 2013, 2014 Bass Nectar days for me.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasant surprise because I didn't know this was a remix. I was just like, this is in a Bass Nectar mixtape somewhere. I've heard that the wah, 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 wah. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Not necessarily a top track, but definitely a good track. And also like I like the kind of it's a really quick departure from that first song of like the industrial, more like rock vibe into more of like a hip hop, like more into a trip hop song. So yeah, the nostalgia in a positive way. I can look back with rose tinted glasses sometimes.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the third track, Teardrop. So this is the first one featuring a female vocalist, Elizabeth Fraser, and I fucking love this song. I mean, this vintage kind of beat that's happening and these slow kind of chimes that build in. I love the progression of this song. I also love the progression of the vocals. You know, if you if you were to read the vocals as the song is playing, there are a couple points kind of middle of the song where, you know, she talks about fire on the edge of my breath or something, but she doesn't say the whole line. Like they wait till the end like verse for her to kind of say this full line out. And I love that kind of detail to it, but this is a beautiful song. I fucking love this. I hope y'all like this.
Yeah, I think it's really, really beautiful. And the pacing of it is super nice where it's placed in the album. I will say they do a really good job with the pacing of this album, like where they put certain songs, where the tracks are there's a nice ebb and flow to it. There's a nice balance. And I think her voice is phenomenal. And I think this song is really beautiful and a really nice tempo change to kind of like not to take their foot off the gas a little bit and let you catch your breath. But not a top song for me, but still is really good. And her voice is fucking angelic, man. Very angelic.
I would marry this woman based on her voice in this song. Like straight up, like no questions asked. Y'all know this is the house theme song.
Yeah, so it's funny.
Okay, I was about to say I know I've heard.
Yeah,
this
is the house theme song. And Pretty Lights actually back to back bass nectar. Pretty Lights mentions Bass Lights again. Pretty Lights played this. I want to say it's in Chicago. I was just trying to look it up on my phone in PLF, but I couldn't find it. But I'm pretty sure that he played this in Chicago this past year. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, this song is this is my favorite song on the album by and far. I think it was kind of a relatively hit single. It's got like 391 million plays. And yeah, this song is like everything that's right with this group. So I love it.
Hell yeah.
Imagine the people going to this album to hear the house theme song and then letting it play into Inertia Creep.
Yeah.
Like,
getting sucked in.
The back-to-back choice, yeah.
Well, like, it's funny that y'all brought that. I'm so glad you brought that up, Trey, because the night of our last recording when I said we were going to do this album, so I go to sleep at night to like shows like South Park and The Simpsons and Solar Opposites and just animated shows I know so I can just bliss out and go to bed. So I'm in bed that night and I hear this song playing on my TV while The Simpsons are on it. And I wasn't even paying attention to the TV, but I like woke up and I was like, okay, is this my head or is this reality? Rewinded it. And sure enough, the Homer is just putting on the TV and it's the house and then the song is playing in the background. So I was like, fuck, I've never seen House, but apparently it's a good show.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's funny.
All right, so let's go to Inertia Creeps. Yeah, this is the dark one, or this is one of the dark ones for me. I really like the creepiness of the vocals in this track. Really haunting, and there's a guitar breakdown halfway too, but like it's a nice build up from Teardrop. I think those songs kind of really work in tandem really well. But what y'all think?
This starts my let's leave the vocals out of the music phase. This is where the run starts for me because what are the sounds that are happening in this song? It's like a distorted. It sounds like a distorted bass guitar almost, like muted, distorted bass guitar. I don't know what it is. I think it's fucking sick. But this guy moaning, crying in my ear.
Without that,
let's get that out of here.
I mean,
this is
okay,
this.
Go ahead.
No, all on you.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, don't you think that adds to the haunting atmosphere of this song? The way he's kind of laying it down?
I think it was haunting enough. Without it.
Okay. Trey,
this is one of my bottoms. This is kind of where it loses me, and it's not even necessarily the vocals on this. It's the Spongletron, like wah, wah, wah. And I know that's something you enjoy, but me not so much. So I was like, I bet Anthony loves the song, and I'm gonna say that it's not a favorite of mine. But I was prepared for that because I'm biased, and that's what we do here. But yeah, it's this dude. It's too weird for me. It's too tribal.
I mean, it is tribal. I'm glad you said that. I mean, the drums in it are really heavy, but like this is a song I think you have to drop on people. In the context of a dance floor, and like if they're in sync with the music, like they're gonna start fucking getting like just making the weirdest body motions to a song like this. Like
you got the right crowd.
In the context of
searching for them.
Hey, are you having a good trip? Do you want to not have a good trip? because I have an idea.
Hey, I mean, I'm telling you, like, if you buy into the creep, like, if you just submit yourself to the creepiness and let it just take you over, your inertia is gonna creep, and it's gonna in the right direction.
Have you ever thought that you're gonna die one day?
Ugh.
They're in your walls. They're in your walls.
The inertia does creep. That is one thing. Like I will say, I feel like they succeeded in what they were trying to do here. Like it is a creeping, haunting, weird song. Just not. And that's not my type of.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, if it doesn't turn off somebody, then maybe they're not leaning in the right direction. So I mean,
Exactly.
it's okay.
It's fair.
I'll accept it, I guess. Okay. Number 5, Exchange. So this is it's a different type of vibe. This track, it has this old kind of swing to it, and digging through the samples of this it comes straight from Isaac Hayes' song called "Our Day Will Come," I think. And Isaac Hayes, if you didn't know, is the voice of Chef on South Park and like a legendary soul artist. Yeah. He's done a lot, like he did Shaft, like the theme from Shaft. He did a lot of music that you would probably recognize, but a lot of it that's heavily sampled. But this is a different vibe. It's lighter than a lot of the rest of the songs on here. It has kind of a jazz flair to it. But I enjoy it. And coming off of Inertia Creeps, which some may say is a little overwhelming or they may not be their flavor, this is a nice kind of breather track, I think, right in the middle of the album that does a really good job of kind of keeping a rhythm, but not being overbearing. You know, they have some delicate touch to their music in spurts, I think. But what'd y'all think of Exchange?
Yeah, I thought this like really highlights their ability to place tracks in the proper place. Like if you were to go from Inertia Creeps into like I don't even really know what else. So something later, not this song, it would be like this is too much back to back.
Man Next Door.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly placed, and I do like it. You know, it's slow. It's like I think I listened to it. It was really funny. Is it came on as I was pulling out of my neighborhood because I listened to it the next morning, and it came on as I was pulling out of my neighborhood, and I was driving to work, and I was like, this is kind of a driving to work song. It's like this is my start my day song, getting my shit together. So not a top or bottom for me, but I did like the placement of it for sure.
This is a top track for me. You said like it's a driving to work song. My note on this was straight up smoke a blunt, ride through the mountains, keep the windows down, forget how long like this has been going on. As Anthony likes to say, you get lost in it a little bit. Almost to the point where like when it ends, it's kind of like, even though it is kind of long for a song that's, you know, relatively the same, like 16 bars, you kind of like, it's almost jarring when it ends. It's like, oh, that's over now. In a good way. It's definitely very very atmospheric, and these first 5 songs, I think like they're all over the place, but they all make sense in the placement that they're put in. So yeah, I think it kind of ends the flexing of their capability. Like these are kind of the 5 type of songs they're gonna have throughout the album, and so this kind of ends that chapter, I feel like, in the record.
Excellent. So number 6 brings up, this is my favorite song on this album, is Dissolved Girl. Female vocals, heavy. It starts off very hypnotic and dreamy, almost like a record skipping where it's in rhythm, where it's dum, dum. And then it kind of blends into the beat that's going to drive the rest of this track. And I love it. It gave me mad like David Lynch kind of vibes at first, until it builds up into this kind of epic rock breakdown towards like almost closer to 3 minutes in the track. It just delivers a punch that like is so well deserved, I feel like. And funny note, this song samples the theme from Taxi Driver, and really builds on it. You know, this isn't fun record to dissect when you dive into samples and see how they've manipulated the samples in a way that's almost unrecognizable. But this is my favorite track without a doubt.
Yeah, it's an honorable mention for me. It is really good. I think like the reason it's not a top track is because I really do like the back half more than the front half, and it takes a while to get there. But I think it's a good song. But yeah, more of an honorable mention than a top for me.
It's funny you mentioned David Lynch, because I put that like it sounds like it could be in the Fight Club soundtrack or like another like 90s grime movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just just the way that it builds, and then like it has kind of that like typical like 90s like alt rock breakdown. I could definitely see this being your favorite track on the record. It's between this and Black Milk for my like third top spot. So I'm gonna put this as like an honorable mention because that's what I'm feeling right now, because I want to talk more about Black Milk when we get but definitely a good song.
Hell yeah. And Sarah J. Holly, I would marry her too. I mean, the way her vocals are just, why do you say that to me? No, anyway, but no, I just love the way she delivers her vocals with the beat, and she really drags it out, and it's dreamy. It's dreamy. All right, so the next track is Man Next Door. I'm not a huge fan of this track. I imagine y'all may not be a huge fan of this track, but it has a different vibe to it. It is more kind of like downbeat, a little bit of tribal, but yeah, I could do without the vocals on this track. But what did y'all think?
Yeah, this is bona fide 10 toes down, no cap, straight ass, dog.
Yeah, this song's bad.
Horrible, man. Shit, like this is not it, man. And Horace, all love and respect. You know, you really sucked being in that first track. I don't know what happened here. I just don't think it was your cup of tea. I don't think it was anyone's cup of tea. So this is a hard dies for me.
I'm not gonna go as aggressive as Blake, but I did not. I put this, you know, it's kind of another Tool type of vibe, and it also just goes on for a really long time. Whereas
6 minutes.
Whereas like Exchange, I was like, I want to live in this beat. This was one I was like, I want to die in this beat. Like it was just it goes on for a real long time and just did not capture me. But luckily, they saved the game with the next one. So
well, I want to say, let's say this on Man Next Door just to kind of wrap it up, is like, you know, the vocals, the lyrics in this song are really dark for what he's actually saying. You know, the idea of being up all night, hearing fighting all night, I can't sleep, I can't escape this, you know, and the fact that the song is drug out that long. I like to think there's some intention to that. I doubt it, but yeah, it's worth reading into those lyrics because that's a dark ass song. But yeah, Trey, why don't you tell me about Black Milk? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, this was where it kind of clicked for me, where I was like, oh, like the female vocals on this album are fantastic. Like they're like light and airy, and they go with the music so much more. Also, there's a company called Black Milk that used to make this really good like merch back in the day. I don't know if that's where they got their name from the song, maybe. But yeah, like the little soft like synth, the dun 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 dun, like, and this like atmospheric, almost like a ghost, like an apparition, like sound effect that's like behind her voice, it just makes it for a really, really nice, like very trip hop oriented track.
Yeah.
This is the best song on the album, 100%. This is my favorite song.
Okay.
This is a fucking great song. Her vocals with this beat are such a perfect match, and it's very get lost in and come down and relax and decompress and hear sounds that will help you decompress type music. And I think it's a perfect touch, and again, placed perfectly in the album. They don't do any of these songs really back to back, you know, and I think that works really well. I think it's nice, like, after to have a "They're in your walls" song with Man Next Door to go into this, which is like they're not in your walls, they're outside, and they're not getting in. You're safe here. That's what this song says. So that's Fair. What I like about it.
Yeah, it gives. I wrote under this, you know, very Twin Peaks kind of vibe. You know, her voice is just haunting and floating throughout the track. Yeah, so I like to imagine like just a haunted coffee shop, you know, where there may not be anybody in there, but there's just sounds just bouncing off the walls. You know, this lady's voice is super fire. Okay, so now we get to the real test, in my opinion, on this album is the title track, which is very dark, very out there. Though there is a groove in it, I mean, this song it's hard to kind of encapsulate a track where it gives me odd feelings while I'm listening to it, but then once that groove kind of gets in, I just get caught in it, and now I'm just along for the ride. So I liked Mezzanine a lot.
This unfortunately falls into the category of I wish the vocals were not here, because I had it as a bottom track. I do love the beat, I do love the rhythm it gets into, but this whispering in my ear stuff that's going on again is like, I do not like it. I don't like whatever this is. So I had it as a bottom track. It had a potential, and when the instrumental album comes out, I'm there. I'm back in it.
This one's also one of my bottoms, just because it reminds me of Maynard Keegan Jameson or whatever that guy's name is, and I just like I wish I had some Jameson listening to this guy sing over this song. I do like I mean the instrumental's cool, but even it is like a little too like industrial for my taste. So not like a super strong title track.
I don't love you taking shots at Tool on a regular basis throughout this podcast.
Well, it's just because it's the only thing that I have that's like a solid reference point to some of these things that I don't like, and I guess I already have this preconceived notion of disliking Tool and trying to have liked Tool recently even. So yeah, unfortunately, Anthony, this one is a dislike for me.
I would have predicted
that's
that
fair.
one. I mean, but yeah, like I said, this is a test song. Like this is a song that I think majority of these songs people can get along with, but this one is a real kind of like it's hard at first, but like once that bass kind of kicks in, then if you're on, you're on, but if not, then it's a tough go. So that's all right though. Group 4, the 10th track is another interesting one. You know, it's not in my opinion like the other tracks that are on here, except for it features, you know, a vocalist who's been singing on a few, but it's interesting. There is a sample that they use in this track, and I haven't been able to really kind of decipher it cleanly yet, but according to Who Sampled, they sampled Pink Floyd on this track from a 1969, not even a legit studio release, kind of like a extra bonus kind of record that Pink Floyd put out. The track's called Up the Kuiper, and yeah, really interesting. But what'd y'all think of this track?
I'd like to get up your Kuiper is what I think.
No, bad.
I don't know if that's good
I thought I could make it work.
Nope.
There's something there.
Yes.
I was indifferent to this song.
Right.
My one gripe with it was that it was 8 minutes long, but like that wasn't enough to put it in a bottom track because I do really love her voice. So it was kind of just neither here nor there, I think is what I'll say.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat, except I really didn't like how long it went, and also kind of reminded me of the previous song. So I was just like, is this kind of what the rest of this is? Are we like, is this who these guys are? Like, is this going to be with the rest of is this how this album is going to finish out? Thankfully I mean, I don't know what we want to call the next song. I guess it's like a reprise kind of.
Yeah.
But I'll let you get more into that, Anthony.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I this one, it took me by surprise because the first time or the other times that I had listened to this album, I really haven't paid attention to track titles. So I just kind of let it play. And then it always kind of struck me. I was like, this is familiar, but why? And, but having looked at it, obviously it's a reprise of Exchange or a remix of Exchange, but it uses a lot more Horace Andy, I think, in this version, in this kind of dub-esque kind of ending to the album. Yeah, I'm not like, I like that it ends somewhat cleanly. You know, it ends with something familiar and it kind of breathes its way out of there. But not anywhere in the top tracks, but not bad at all. I mean, the beat in Exchange is great. I think everyone gets along with it.
Yeah, for me, you could listen to two goats putting things up each other's Kuipers over this beat, and they would sound good. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not necessarily a top track, but it's like an honorable mention adjacent, just because, you know, it's not really anything terribly new. But like, I really like his voice on this. I wish he'd do more of that on some of those other tracks. It's kind of a little more like airy. It's lighter. So yeah, just a lovely little bow to send us off with.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think the album kind of goes out with a whimper instead of a bang, which is okay. You know, it's a nice kind of come down, I guess. It again, not really a bottom, not really a top, somewhere in between. You know, there's a handful of these on this album where I don't fully know where I stand on them. It's like I don't dislike them, but I don't love them either. So there's somewhere in that middle area. But fine closing track. You know, not as good as the intro track, but fine closing track.
Yeah, I think there's beauty in some of the simple, I guess, quote, simple areas of this album, you know, where a lot of it feels really stripped back and it's kind of just letting the sound breathe on its own. That's what I really love about it. So, but either way, I'm glad we got to go here. You know, trip hop albums as a whole are not easy listens because they're not. I mean, this one has its dynamic points, but not a lot of them are extremely dynamic tracks. You know, they can be ethereal and very like just mind wandering kind of music. But I think this one is a good kind of. There's a lot on their palette in this album, I think.
Fair. All right, well, let's get into rankings. Anthony, what do you got for us?
All right. I'm going to give this a 9.5. I mean, it's high for me, but this album it gets me high, legit. So 9.5.
Trey?
I'm going to give it a solid 6.5. There's a lot of things I did like about it. Some things that kind of bumped me out of it, like holistically. But when I was like looking at my notes, looking through like track by track, there's just too many that I didn't like love to give it anything above that.
This kind of pisses me off because Trey and I have been weirdly aligned this entire episode, and I'm also going to give it a 6.5. And this was not planned, but like we had the same opinions on all the songs, which rarely happens. So that's kind of
I don't love that.
That's kind of an impressive feat for Mezzanine Cartel. They brought us together, you know, and they brought me and Trey together. So yeah, that's fair.
It's a high 6.5 though, because like the high points, for me at least. I'm not going to speak for you, Blake, because we don't ever have the same thoughts, but
I agree. High 6.5.
Yeah,
I actually had that thought first. I didn't say it first, but I had it. Yeah,
he's texting me on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall very enjoyable. Also, it does indeed gym, which you might be surprised because of its down tempo nature. But it, you know, if you're pumping this in the gym, it kind of just kind of gets your head bobbing. It's nice.
Yeah,
just enough move.
All right, well. That was Mezzanine by Massive Attack. Go give it a shot. If you've never listened to trip hop music, this should be your intro to it. See how you feel about it. Okay. Let's see. We got Rise or Dies now, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. You know what? I think it's Anthony. Anthony, you go first.
All right. So yeah, my song, it's called 3 Seed by this band. It's kind of an indie band called Silver Sun Pickups. This one came across on one of those day lists, and as I heard it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this bass line right now! Like this is the bass line. This is another bass line that I could live inside." And I've probably listened to this song over the past week. I mean, every day, but multiple times. Like I just get sucked into this song. The way the vocals are, they're in that similar vein of this kind of haunting-esque vibe to it. But I just love. I'm so swoon by this song. So what did you guys think? Maybe not that much, but what'd y'all think?
Trey, am I tripping, or did Silver Sun Pickups make their rounds in the music festivals back in the day? Like at some point,
they're one of those like early 2000s alt rock indie bands that they would pop back up on as kind of like the old people's headliner. Like 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, they did.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I really like this song. I thought it fit really well with the theme of the episode for sure. But yeah, it's a rides for me. It's a good song. I don't know if I've seen them. I remember them being at festivals, but I don't know if I ever popped into a show. But this is a good song for sure.
Yeah.
This song is fantastic, and it like so I kind of always if I'm listening to like a brand new radio station or sometimes even like Bright Eyes or something like that, Silver Sun Pickups. I almost didn't say Bright Eyes just to not see Blake's nose turn up, but I see Silver Sun pickup songs will pop up, especially their like that hit song Lazy Eye. But this made me want to listen to this album. I actually wanted to before we came on, just so I could report back on how the whole thing is. But this song is fantastic. It's like I love this style of vocal. This is like right up my alley. Yeah. So hard rides.
They're going to be playing in Birmingham like a month from like April 28th is when they're playing at Iron City. Yeah, at Iron City. But like I did a little brief dive of their music because I didn't want to fully submerge myself. I was going to go see them, but I don't know if I can get along with the whole vibe they're putting out there. So I guess I'll report back if I end up going to this show, but I'm really torn. Trey, should I go? Should I go see this band?
You should go. Yeah. Sidebar, did you go to the Move My Peeps show at Workplay a couple nights ago?
No. What is it?
Do you know who that is? It's a SCS9. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tribe. That's the name of a Tribe song, but it's David Murphy's band, and they're like playing old like 2000s
Tribe?
SCS9 songs. Yeah,
David
like the old
Murphy's
bass
doing like a
player.
Tribe cover thing on his own.
Yes,
Interesting.
he's doing like songs that he wrote. Yeah, yeah.
I had no. I mean, I saw our
Yeah,
buddy post a picture of him with him, and I didn't really look into it. So that's wild.
Yep, that's where that was from. So, yeah, I meant to ask you about that earlier, but I was curious.
All right.
Cool.
Trey, what do you got?
All right, I'm gonna be super real with y'all. I don't remember the song that I brought. I know that it was 1999 by Joey Badass, and now that I'm looking at the album, I think it's From the Tomb Dollar Sign. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What'd y'all think? The reason I brought this is I've been listening to this album a whole lot. Joey Badass like fucking popped off on this record.
So
it's
we
like
did
old
this
school
album.
90s. Did we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a me and Christian episode. I think it might have been a me and Christian episode.
Might have been.
Yeah, he loves this album.
Yeah, or I thought you were on it, but maybe not. Yeah, this song rides. That whole album fucks. Like he's popping off, and he has. And the follow up is 2001, right? Is the name of the next one? Yeah. Yeah, we should rinse 2001 at some point, but definitely rides.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But like, see, I had an interesting experience with both of y'all's rides or dies, in a sense of like, haven't listened to a lot of their raps at all. Like, I haven't listened to Joey Badass hardly at all. I couldn't tell you any songs, but like, the production of the song resonates with me. So this song rides, but I honestly didn't pay attention to what he's saying. You know, again, it's like cadence. Sometimes, like, I found myself like when I was in high school listening to a lot of vocals, and then from 2010 to 2020, pretty much a lot of electronic instrumental music I listened to. And so now I'm in this kind of stage where I think I can shift listening approaches to where like my head naturally is focusing on backbeats and instrumentals, and the music is just kind of background, but I can choose to focus on it if not. So yeah, this song rides for me though.
Nice.
The song has a bar that reminds me of Blake where he says, I know how to write these songs, I know how to light these bongs, I know how to rip these thongs, and I'm pretty good at beer pong. And that just sounds like some shit Blake would have said 10 years ago.
Hard.
Except he never really knew how to rip a bong. So
I knew I'd do all those things very well, okay? My song was Road to Perdition by Jay Electronica. Have I talked to y'all about Jay Electronica before? Have I gone on my... Okay, so... Just to give you a brief thing about Jay Electronica. So I don't ever feel religious unless I'm listening to Jay Electronica. Now, what? Jay Electronica, listen, hear me out. Jay Electronica is a Nation of Islam guy, and a lot of his raps it talk about the Nation of Islam and talk about the Prophet Muhammad, and I don't know anything about that world, right? But the way that he raps on a lot of his music, he talks very passionately and very poetically about his religion. And I'm very anti-religion. I don't hide that at all. But the way that he speaks on his religion and raps about it, I think is, for some reason, there's just something about Jay Electronica that like really draws me to him in the way that he writes and he raps. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like years ago, Jay Electronica was an enigma. There was rumors that Jay Dilla gave him like 10,000 beats exclusively for Jay Electronica, and there was all these rumors about who he was, kind of where he came from, and everybody used to talk about what an amazing writer and artist this guy was. He signed to Rock Nation. He took years to put out an album. Jay-Z was starting to get frustrated, so his first album, A Written Testimony, came out, and it's basically a Watch the Throne album with Jay-Z. Like, Jay-Z's on every track, which is clearly Jay-Z being like, you need to put this out. I'll help you. Like, I'll write verses, right? So he doesn't really have any solid albums after that. He has these weird, like, he's very political, very religious. His music is all about that. And he's just an enigma. Like, there's something about his energy or something that brings me to him. And so I listen to him occasionally and go see what he's doing, see what he's put out. And this song is just such a fucking banger. And I got to say, my favorite line in this song is the start of the third verse is, 1,000 kisses to these haters because they made me greater. 1,000 wishes from a million slaves could raise a savior. 1,000 visits to these dickheads at these major labels. From Big Daddy Kane to Big Daddy Kane and Abel. And then here's the line. You pay a cost to be a boss. I paid a wager. And I fucking love that line because Jay Electronica took a gamble and that gamble fucking paid off. So yeah, I had to bring it. What do you guys think?
Silence. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. So I hadn't heard of. I feel like I've definitely heard of Jay Electronica, but Trey, maybe you can clear this up for me. For some reason, I get the title Jay Electronica mixed up with some guy who used to like cover Pretty Lights songs way long time ago.
Oh yeah, what was that fucking guy's name?
If you find it,
hold on, I got
blurt
you.
it out because like in my head talking. I was so twisted. I'm like, is this that guy? Who is this guy? What is he about? But in listening to this track, I had a very similar feeling as to what you're talking about, Blake, which is whatever he's got to say, I like the way he's saying it. You know, like it's not so much what he's actually saying to me, but like the way it feels in this track really is nice. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too about like his relationship with Jay-Z and kind of the history behind him because yeah, I don't know anything about him, but I'm definitely curious and like I really do want to like hear his voice in different contexts too, you know, other tracks to see kind of what I feel about him. But like, yeah, this song rides for me.
Fuck yeah.
That guy's name was Jay Fresh, and I actually met him one time.
Jay Fresh.
Yeah, Jay Fresh. He did this little like project where he like rapped over a bunch of different Pretty Light songs, and then he was like tight with the Grizz crew for a while back in the day. But back to Jay Electron. Anytime I see this guy's name, I just think of the Control verse, where you know like he kind of pops off on that verse. Obviously, it's overshadowed by Kendrick, but this song's fantastic. I didn't know all of that about him at all. But this was another one where I was like, I kind of want to listen to this whole record. He's going off on this track, and like Anthony talked about, like his flow is fantastic. So it's also going to be a rides for me. Is that 9 rides?
Yeah,
that was. Fuck yeah.
I do want to say I'm going to send you guys after this. You're going to have to skip to it because it's an 8-minute song from Donda. But he's on a song called Jesus Lord, and I just want to read one line from this. He says, "Earthquakes will strike this nation for what Bush did to Rwanda, what the Clintons did to Haiti, and Downing Street did to Ghana." And that's like his whole demeanor and everything that he talks about. Like it's so politically and religiously charged. And like for some reason, it just fucking moves me. So
I
might
need to add another line to that here coming soon. I'd say.
Yeah, true.
Blake, are you telling us you're joining Nation of Islam?
I might be a Nation of Islam guy. I need to learn about this.
They're gonna love that.
I need to learn about this Prophet Muhammad guy, see what he's got to say, and then we'll reassess from there. Okay, so the movie pick was Heat, which was Trey's movie pick. So tell us about Heat, Trey. Tell us why you picked it.
Yeah, I can't remember if I mentioned this on last couple weeks podcast, but I used to have like a movie. You had like a movie club, me and Zach Courtney and this guy named. Oh yeah, I did because you thought it was a different Nathan.
Yeah.
But anyway, just to circle back on that, can't take the corporate out of me, baby. The guy who brought this movie to us, like he usually picked very obscure movies, and he like brought this like it was a huge hit in the early 90s. Called Heat, and this is the first movie that Al Pacino and Robert De Niro ever actually interact in. I mean, they were both like huge stars in the late 80s and 90s. They were both in The Godfather 2, but they never had any scenes together. So and they were both like New York guys. They played similar roles. So it was a really big deal when it came out. And it's long. It's a long movie before long movies were long movies. And it is absolutely like, it is like a super like twist and turn, all these different like parallels between the characters, like a masterfully written, in my opinion, heist movie, which like heist movies are usually all about that action. And there's some great action scenes. Like, I mean, the shootout in the streets of LA is crazy. The shootout at the very end of the movie is crazy. But it's one of those that like it on its surface, it's like a heist action movie. But when you really dive deep into it, there's all kinds of crazy themes. There's, like the duality and the meaning, or in the mirroring, kind of some like the loneliness of like being in these like positions of power for these guys, kind of like the male female, like mirroring where it's like these females want like kind of companionship and relationships, and these males are like willing to drop anything, in 30 seconds if the heat's right around the corner.
He's right around the corner,
which is such a ball. Like that scene in the diner is what the whole movie's about, right? Like, and they kind of like they almost lay out and foreshadow everything that's going to happen in that conversation. But what did y'all think of it, Blake? I know you hadn't seen it and you mean to watch.
This movie, unfortunately, suffered from. I hyped this movie up way too much in my mind.
Oh, it's the opposite of Sinners.
No, it's the opposite of. That's exactly what I thought after I finished Sinners. Is I hyped this movie up because everybody used to tell me I need to see this movie. Bill Simmons is obsessed with this movie. So
it's
even
the
when
first
I'm
movie
listening,
they did for rewatchables.
Yeah, and he brings it up all the time. His live podcast for the basketball episode he did like a month ago was the NBA parallel to Heat quotes. So he was doing Heat quotes and matching them to NBA scenarios. And so I went into it like, and here's the thing, it's a good movie, okay? It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I hyped it up too much. And here's my issue, man. If you are going to have a 3-hour film, every scene needs to be earned, okay? You can't have, let me tell you guys a real thing about this movie. Natalie Portman is in 3 scenes. From the time that she tries to kill herself, if you go backwards, the last scene that she's in is 90 minutes prior to that, okay? And you had only seen her once before that. Am I supposed to have some sort of emotional connection to this character? Because I don't. And her entire character can be removed from this film and it makes the film no different whatsoever. And there are just multiple scenes in this movie that don't feel earned. Like it could be a 2-hour movie just as well as it could be a 3-hour movie. And that is overall my biggest gripe with it. But first off, the ending, fucking perfect. The ending is perfect. And I love it so much. I love the entire last sequence from going to the hotel to the shooting in the hotel to escaping to the ultimate final moment, him leaving the girl. The heat is right around the corner. He's got to get the fuck out of there.
Seconds or less.
And he drops her in 30. He stands up. He sticks to his word. And I love the lighting in that final scene with the planes landing and the lights turning on and going off. Like, it's a great scene. And there's a lot of great fucking scenes in this movie. The shootout scene is amazing. The opening heist scene is sick as shit. It's really tense and kind of nerve wracking. But I propped this movie up thinking it was going to be something, and like I let myself down. And I think that if I go back and maybe rewatch it in a year, now that I know what it is, I think I'll like it more. The acting is phenomenal. But overall, I thought it was an okay movie. I just thought there were scenes in there that didn't need to be earned. And also, I'm confused. Maybe you guys can answer this for me. How does this cop know all this shit, man? Does anybody ever really explain that? Like the first scene.
He's a good cop.
Where he's watching them like break into the thing that they're breaking into. It's like, it's never really explained kind of how he even figured out they were going to be there. Like maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but it just kind of seemed like it was like, oh yeah, he knows he's there and he's watching them. And it's like, why, when, where, like how?
Well,
I don't know.
This is like, it's a movie of the time for sure. Like, I mean, there are pagers, there are pay phones, there's minimal technology because like, there's no way that they're just going to let these guys walk out of this situation if they have some evidence on them, So I think there's a lot of that going on. Natalie Portman's character, I think her whole purpose in this movie is like her father is out of the picture and Al Pacino is dating her mom or married to her mom or something like that. So there is like a curveball in Al Pacino's kind of line of events given she, tries to commit suicide. But for me, I love the cat and mouse kind of, they're on the same track. They're heading toward like they're eventually going to meet again, and the diner kind of really does set the tone for that. But I like this movie. I hadn't seen it in probably 15 years, I would have to imagine, because I haven't watched it probably since I watched it on DVD back in the day. But like people have spent 30 years with this movie and probably experienced it in theaters and in the theaters at that time. Like Trey was saying, this is it's a big movie of that time period as well. But we've done a handful of heist movies on the podcast. We've done Inside Man, Baby Driver, Italian Job, The Getaway, and now this. And like, if you were to think of all the heist movies that we've watched, Blake, where does this sit in that kind of list that we've watched in the podcast? Is it at
So
the
wait,
bottom?
what were they again?
So
what were they again?
So Heat, which we just did, Inside Man with Denzel. We did Baby Driver, and The Italian Job, Charlize Theron and Edward Norton.
I want to list mine after this.
And The Getaway too. I guess The Getaway could be considered a heist movie. Yeah,
it is.
Did we not do Army? Did we not do Army of Thieves? Army of Thieves. So Army of Dead and Army of Thieves are both heist movies. Yeah. Right. If I'm throwing those in there too, I would say the Denzel movie was really fucking good. Now that I'm thinking back on it, so I would probably have that as the top one. And then I really hate to say this, man.
Baby Driver.
he didn't. Yeah, I would say Baby Driver, and then I'd probably, I don't know. Then I'd probably put Heat, and then the rest of them are somewhere in there. Baby Driver is a great fucking movie. I know it hasn't aged super well, mainly because of Kevin Spacey, but I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I'd have Baby Driver at number one. I'd have Baby Driver, then Heat, then Italian Job, because I like Italian Job's like one of my childhood favorite movies. And then Inside Man. Getaway's at the very bottom.
Yeah, well,
all the other ones are good. Getaway was bad. And that was on me. I'll take that. That was on me.
It's not a bad movie. It's just what it is.
To touch on Natalie Portman though, like I think she kind of represents like the collateral damage that comes from like these irresponsible and selfish men throughout the movie, and then also like shows that Al Pacino is like so dedicated to, you know, almost like obsessed with his job and with catching Robert De Niro that like he's willing to just kind of let that like not be a factor. You know what I mean?
And nobody's concerned about her at all. Like the mom,
that's what he's just like, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna go catch. Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see the vision. I guess I feel like it could have been done a different way with I don't know.
one
But on the technology front, actually on that Bill Simmons, the first podcast, they talk about how like this movie couldn't be. This is like 95 was one of the last internet or pre-internet years, and like this could not be done with any like reality nowadays, just because you know this isn't how crime works anymore.
They would just track his phone. They would just track his phone. Like he's right here.
Track his phone, his credit cards. Yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit of a time capsule type of movie if you look at it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
One last scene I want to kind of bring up was a moment of comedy for me when Danny Trejo is laying in the motel on the ground, practically dying, and he looks at fucking De Niro and is like, "Please, Holmes, don't leave me like this," and then boom. Like just the way he says "please, Holmes," I'm just like cracking up watching this. Like, perfect line.
Danny Trejo's a treasure.
Yep.
He really is. So yeah, overall it was alright. That's my professional review. It was alright.
Love it.
Okay, so next week is Anthony Movie My Album. So let's start with album. So this one, I went back and forth. This was really, really hard for me. But we're going to do a band. Do either one of you, Trey should know this. This is a real best friend test. Does anybody know what my favorite band of all time is?
Is it Imagine Dragons? It's Nirvana.
It is Nirvana.
Okay.
And we are finally going to do Nevermind, which we have not done.
All right.
So it is time to do Nevermind.
Heavy one.
And yeah, heavy one. It was either going to be this or Relapse, which we will keep Relapse in the back pocket because it's gonna happen. But yeah, I think the fact that we have never done Nevermind blows my fucking mind. So we're doing Nevermind.
Sweet.
Anthony, what do you got for movie?
All right, are y'all ready for this? Because I'm sure y'all were dreading what I was going to be bringing to this. Now,
Anthony's like, it's Bo is Afraid 2. I got a director's cut. Nobody else has seen it.
I will tell you this. I rewatched Begonia the other night, and we should do that at some point, okay? But we're not going to do it now. I'm going to let that kind of fester in there. Maybe I'll watch it out of curiosity, but that movie pays off. But the movie that we are going to watch is one I've been trying to shoehorn Blake into picking for a long time. It is a Guy Ritchie movie, and it is The Gentleman. It has enough weed. It has enough violence. It has enough UK flair to it that I think Blake will really get on board with Guy Ritchie finally. So yeah, The Gentleman.
Okay.
Not the series, the film. So we may have to find it out there in the world somewhere.
I've seen the series. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I haven't watched the series, but if anything
it's really good
off of this, yeah. Well, I'm interested to hear your kind of comparison once we talk The Gentleman. That'll be good.
Hell yeah. Oh, last thing I wanted to say, this is back to the beginning of the pod. I just have to say I laughed so hard at the scene in Sinners where the vampire is at the front door and he says y'all clan, and he's so offended when he asks him that. He goes, "Sir." Like the way that his eyes bulge up, like you could tell that pissed him off more than anything else, was that you would dare assume that I was a Ku Klux Klan member. I just have to say I was laughing really fucking hard when I watched that scene.
Hell yeah. That's the guy from 28 Years Later. Well, actually, he's more featured in the Bone Temple, but the Jimmy at the very end of 28 Years Later, the kind of cult that's coming out of the woodwork.
Really?
Yeah, and he is the main character in Bone Temple, which I almost picked too, but I was like, we'll venture elsewhere. But like, Bone Temple is a cult movie, and he's the cult leader. That's all you need to know.
Fuck yeah,
it's worth.
I gotta
so
watch
that guy's
shit.
just like, he's a cult
Dude,
guy.
He
That's
is.
his
He
thing.
rocks it.
Yeah.
He goes.
Someone needs to track his phone.
Does he know that the heat's around the corner?
Right.
Could he drop everything in 30 seconds or less?
All right, well,
hey Blake, do you want to address the Final Fantasy results and
oh yes,
yeah.
Okay, so
what are we doing?
We have to determine Anthony gets to pick. So the loser, the big loser, which was me, has two punishment options. I either have to run a beer mile, or I have to pay for Sam's MLB TV. And Anthony gets to pick which one he wants me to do and which one he wants to do. So
before you reveal what you pick, I just want to point out that like there's a clear thing that Blake would rather do, which is not pay money, and there's a clear thing that Anthony would rather not do, which is run a beer mile. So I really want to know, like, are you gonna like make you both do the thing that you hate, or are you gonna like kind of just settle up?
Here's the thing, okay? So your brother Trey mentioned something in the group chat, which is that T-Mobile's offering a free season of MLB TV. So Trey, you're going to mediate this proposal I'm going to bring to you, okay? Because T-Mobile has never done a damn thing for me the longest time I've been a supporter of them for
T-Mobile
easily
don't
20
sponsor us.
years. Easily 20 years.
You're not on the T-Mobile dude. T-Mobile Tuesdays. That shit
Huge
pops.
headache in my life has been T-Mobile, but recently I was able to get a free subscription of MLB TV. So Trey, if you support this, I would be willing to get Sam access to the MLB TV account if that is appropriate. Otherwise,
here's the
Blake's
problem.
Gonna pay,
Here's
no,
the
you
problem.
have to pay for. No,
Okay.
you got to pay for something.
Okay.
Something
Well,
has to be
here's the
paid
problem.
for financially with money.
The only issue is he already bought it. So you're just paying him for the purchase that he already bought. No, it's his. So you got lucky if it's what you choose, because Sam has been subscribed to MLB TV for like 10 years. So his is only like $90. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well,
so a little bit of a discount.
In that case, I'm getting my running shoes on and I'm running a beer mile.
Let's
No,
go.
you're not.
Yes.
Are you actually?
Well, yeah.
Take them both down.
I've been hitting the elliptical, you know. Now here's the thing.
All right.
My knees aren't that great. I'm not running it fast. And is it one whole beer after each lap? 4 beers in a mile?
Yes. 4 total beers.
So, and here's the thing, you can choose
4 years probably.
You can choose if you want to. So you can either do beer and then the first lap, or you can do first lap and then beer, which means you have to drink one at the end.
Yeah. That's safer.
Or you can start with one and then that's probably safer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I said, no
Trey,
record
is there
time.
any way you can be there?
Yeah, we're gonna make
Is
sure
there any way
Trey is there. Or
If you can wait until mid-May, yeah, I'll be there.
get me in shape, right?
This is gonna be.
You might want to start running.
I have been running.
Follow me on
November.
Strava for inspiration.
I've been running since November, but like I said, on the elliptical, not on hard ground. Like I said, I got to keep these knees. I got to work on my feet. You know?
Well, it's not hurt. Don't hurt yourself now.
No, I think the
I'm
beer is the worst part.
I'm so
of it.
shocked. I was so ready. I was so ready to run the beer mile, man.
I'm sure.
It's crazy.
But this is how the tides have turned.
This is great news for me.
It's good podcasting, right?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
All right. Well,
All
we will
right,
film
good
this,
stuff,
and it will be
guys.
on the internet in some capacity.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
All right.
right.
Thanks, guys. See y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.